Happy Mother's Day weekend. I just put out a video where we're talking about the best Disney moms. And this video here, this is the companion to that, where I want to touch on what I believe is the worst Disney moms. Now, you might disagree with me. You might think I'm going to be kind of harsh on some of these people. So let me know about that in the comments below. But let's get right to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 5 for me is going to be Laura Miller, the mom from the Santa Claus. Now, she does a lot of things where you're like, this is the right thing to do, right? She getting restraining orders against her husband, who she thinks is crazy, trying to get full parental custody of her kid, Charlie. These things which are like, these are the right things to do as a mom. The only thing is, we know in the movie that Santa Claus is real, and we know that she's fighting against Santa Claus, and so that kind of makes us turn against her in that way. But for me, really, I put her on this list for the reason of just at the end, like the very end of the movie, when she finds out that Scott is really Santa Claus, and she lets Charlie go off with him at the end. And I'm just like, is that the best thing to do? Like, your kid was just gone for so long that you had the cops out looking for him, and he was essentially kidnapped, right? And I don't know, it just strikes me as her giving up control of this kid's life. Like, she's actively being like, hey, don't go over oceans. Don't do any of that stuff. And you can tell, like, that's the first thing Santa's going to do. Santa's going to fly right over that ocean. And so, I don't know, it just feels like she bows to the authority of Santa Claus. And I just wonder if that's the right thing for Charlie. Hey, we find out later that he ends up on the naughty list in the second Santa Claus. And so maybe it wasn't. But again, this is one you probably would think, you're being a little too hard on Laura Miller. And, you're probably right. But I guess also I just have never liked her that much. Again, that's probably not fair, but not the point. Let's get on to number 4. Elena Rivera. I thought about kind of splitting this between her and then the grandma from Encanto, but I decided just to land here in the movie Coco, because in Encanto, the grandma is the one who had the trauma happen to her, right? Whereas here in Coco, it's a couple generations in, where it's like the no music because music is bad. And I don't know, for me, it's just like she's just gone along with it. And that just makes it a little harder for me to want to side with her. Plus, she smashes up Miguel's guitar. And I just don't like that. And I mean, just like how she just doesn't seem very pleasant. I'm just so glad at the end, right, that she's nicer. And you find out, I mean, with all of these modern Disney movies, it's all about like shared family trauma. But, again, she's not evil or anything. It's like she's not out to do it for that reason, but almost more so, way more so than Laura Miller from the Santa Claus. She's pretty relatable, right? We all know people who are hurt, who hurt other people. And so, but that's her. I don't want to focus on her too much just because, I don't know. It's kind of a sad one. So let's move on to my number 3, which is Diane Celinski from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. So she has 3 kids, right? 2 kids in the first movie. And in that movie, her kids get shrunk down by an invention that her husband has been building in their home. And they almost get killed in a number of different ways, including like being murdered by a scorpion in their backyard, almost being eaten by their dad. And all this happens, and she sticks with Wayne, right? This is like a one-off thing. It's crazy. Like, that's never going to happen again. But then it happens again, right? And he makes their baby into a giant, like King Kong-sized creature who goes and terrorizes Las Vegas. And you might think, okay, well, that's 2 times. Like, that's when you're going to say, like, Wayne, you're not putting our family's safety as a priority. And because of that, like, things got to change. And then it happens again. And this time, it's like he's not even supposed to have like the shrink ray anymore, but he's got it and he uses it, and then you all get shrunk, and then you almost get eaten by your kid and like a bunch of her friends. And here's the thing, I just have a hard time thinking that she's caring about those kids enough to say, Wayne, it's got to stop. Again, maybe too harsh on her, but at what point is it just Wayne? Right? It's definitely more Wayne, and I don't want to like try to say it's her, like directly her fault, but she's got to look out for those kids because they can't look out for themselves. Is really what it comes down to. Wayne should be in jail, though. Trust me. If we were talking dads, he'd be way up on this list too. So I'm not directly blaming her, and she does come in and save the day in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, but just the fact that it's over and over again, and then that's not even taking into account the events of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show, in which it becomes like a daily occurrence that crazy stuff is happening. And so, yeah, for those reasons, Diane is on my list of worst moms. Now, you might say, Seth, these are very arguable. And I'll say, yeah, you're probably right. Yes, they are. You'll be like, where's Mother Gothel? Oh, she's not really her mom. Just because Mother's in the name, like, that's not it. It's the same as Yondu, right? Saying he may have been your father, but that doesn't mean he was your daddy, right? Just because you got Mother in your name doesn't automatically mean you're a mom. So all of that to say, sure, I was probably too hard on these three. You might say, like, these are one trash options, throw them out. And I'd love to hear your options in the comments below. But when it comes to these top two, I don't think you're going to find people who are worse. So let's go to number two. And number two is Lady Tremaine, or the evil stepmother, right? Like that's what most people, I believe, know her as. Like if I told people, I showed them their picture and they were like, oh, I know who that is. That's the evil stepmother, right? Most people aren't going to be like, that's Lady Tremaine. She's just evil, right? She's got a cat named Lucifer. That should be your first red flag that's popping up. She's essentially made her stepchild into a slave, which is very bad. I know that's a hot take, right? I know that child slavery or any slavery bad. Hot take, right? That's a bold stance for me to take, but it's the one I'm going to stand up and I'm going to die on that hill and say that those are bad things. She just is nasty, and I don't like her, and that's why she is number two. Now, even though she's number two, to me, number one is so much worse, like completely on a different level, and that is the evil queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. She is so bad that once her husband dies and she finds out she's not the fairest in the land, right? What she wants is, she says, hey, I need to get rid of my stepdaughter so that I can just be in charge and I can do whatever I want. And so what I want you to do, I'm just going to hire this huntsman and this hunter dude, and you take her out into the forest, and then I want you to murder her. But to know that she's dead, I want you to cut out her heart, and I want you to put it in this box, and then I want you to bring it back to me. And when that doesn't work, she decides to Thanos the situation, right?
Fine. I'll do it myself.
She makes herself into a disgusting, old, crazy hag woman who then poisons Snow White with a poisoned apple. And then at which point she probably should have just stabbed her a bunch, because then for sure she would have, killed her. And then she just wanders off and gets killed by a bunch of dwarves. And so she's evil and she's not smart. Like none of these bad guys ever go all the way with their plans. They're always like Scar is like this too. Mother Gothel, again, is like this, where they don't make good plans. They don't follow through. If they really thought about it, they could get away with it. Like just kill Simba. Just take Rapunzel to a different country, and then she'd never have to know. Like she could be happy, and you could be, and then she would just never care. I don't know. All of that to say, there's some bad moms out there in Disney, movies. And so it's nice to be able to remember them also on this day. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to check out the other video that I put out today with the best Disney moms. Let me know what you think in the comments on that one as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week with some more videos. Until then, take care.